The hum of distant rotors echoed through the dimly lit Delta Force drone hangar. The night shift was always quiet, filled only with the sound of buzzing machinery and the soft whir of maintenance drones gliding across the floor. Among the shadows moved a solitary figure, an old janitor with a limp in his right leg, pushing his mop with slow, deliberate strokes. His name tag read simply Jack. No one knew his last name, and no one really asked. To the young recruits, he was just the quiet old man who kept the hangar spotless. Jack never spoke much, never interfered, and never seemed to look anyone in the eye for too long. He showed up early, left late, and always carried a now duffel bag with him, never letting it out of his sight. Some of the younger soldiers joked that he probably kept his lunch or a few cleaning supplies in it. Others whispered that the old man lived somewhere off base, alone. To them, he was invisible, but that was exactly how Jack preferred it. That night, however, everything changed. A group of new Delta Force drone operators were training under Colonel Mason, a man known for his precision and pride. The team was testing the new Ares Recon system, a classified drone prototype capable of long-range autonomous strike missions. It was the pride of the hangar, and the test operation was critical. The colonel barked orders while the recruits tapped furiously on their screens, controlling the drones in a virtual mock combat zone. Everything was smooth until the system glitched. The drone feed went dark, then static. The control terminal froze, and the Ares drone, fully armed, began to drift off course toward a civilian air corridor. Panic spread. The colonel cursed, trying to regain control, but nothing responded. The encryption failed, the override code wouldn't go through, and the command system was completely locked out. Then, quietly from the corner, a voice spoke. "You're sending the wrong override protocol," the old janitor said, his voice calm but firm. Every head turned. Colonel Mason frowned. "Excuse me, Jack didn't stop mopping?" "You're using a Tier 5 reset. Ares doesn't recognize that string anymore. Try the old Phantom code line, the one from Operation Iron Dusk." The hangar fell silent. No one moved, no one knew how to respond. The colonel blinked. "How the hell do you know that operation?" Jack set his mop aside and slowly walked toward the console. His limp was obvious now, dragging slightly with every step. "Because I wrote the damn code," he said softly. A silence heavier than steel filled the hangar. One of the younger operators looked at the colonel in disbelief. Mason didn't move. Jack leaned over the terminal, typed a sequence of commands that no one else seemed to recognize, and within seconds, the drone's signal flickered back to life. The Ares system stabilized, the feed cleared, and the drone returned to base control. The room erupted in relief. Applause, laughter, sighs, but all eyes were on the janitor who had just saved them from disaster. The colonel stepped closer. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. Jack gave a faint smile. "Used to be nobody. Used to be Major Jack Reynolds, 3rd Recon Drone Division. Retired, or maybe just forgotten." Mason froze. He knew the name. Everyone in Delta had heard of Reynolds. He was a legend, the man who led the classified Phantom strike missions that redefined unmanned aerial warfare 2 decades ago. He'd gone missing after an ambush in Kandahar, presumed dead after saving his entire team. The colonel's voice softened. "Sir, you were the one who—" Jack cut him off gently. "That was a long time ago. I'm just the janitor now." But word spread quickly. The next day, Base Command ordered an inquiry. The old records were opened and the truth came out. Jack Reynolds had been discharged after his helicopter was shot down. He survived, but suffered nerve damage and memory loss. By the time he recovered, the military had moved on. No medals, no ceremony, just silence. He'd returned years later, not as a soldier, but as a janitor wanting to be near the machines he helped create, near the men and women who carried on the work he once believed in. Colonel Mason met him that morning, not as a commander, but as a man humbled. "Major, you don't belong with a mob, you belong with us." Jack shook his head. "You don't understand, son. The mop's what keeps me grounded. The uniform, that's what took too much from me." But when Mason insisted, Jack finally agreed to help, not as an officer, but as an advisor. His knowledge of early drone systems proved invaluable. He trained operators quietly, guiding them through systems even the engineers didn't fully grasp. Weeks later, a live mission went bad. A Delta Force unit was ambushed overseas. Their drone pilot lost contact mid-strike. Panic rippled through command. Jack walked into the control room, calm as always, and sat down beside the operator. "Let me take a look." With steady hands and eyes that had seen both war and regret, he rerouted the drone through a forgotten protocol only he remembered. Within minutes, the drone re-established link, provided overwatch, and saved every man on the ground. When the operation ended, the colonel stood and saluted him. The entire room followed. Jack didn't speak, he just nodded, eyes glistening. After that day, no one called him Janitor again. The plaque outside the drone hangar now reads, Major Jack Reynolds, the quiet guardian of Delta. He still cleans the hangar sometimes. They say still walks among the machines at night. Not for duty, but for peace. And when the young soldiers ask him why he never left again, he just smiles and says, because sometimes the best way to serve is to stay where you're needed most. And in that quiet hangar, beneath the dim hum of drones and the soft echo of footsteps, the legend of the janitor who saved Delta lives on, a reminder that true heroes don't always wear the uniform. Sometimes they carry a mop,